All right, hey there, everybody. I'm going to be talking about Lyft versus Facebook versus Ford stocks. We're going to look at their assets and subtract the liabilities to see how much money they have today. And then we're going to add 3 years worth of net income to see what we think the value is. And then we're going to look at the market cap and decide which one of these stocks is the best one to buy based on today's current price and how much they actually have. This is no different than adding up your house and your car and all of your stuff that you own, subtracting all of the loans, the credit card debt, the student debt that you have, and seeing if you're underwater or if you have a lot of money if you sold out, and then taking 3 years of your salary, subtracting your expenses, and using the money that you save per year to figure out how much a person is worth or a company is worth. It doesn't seem too much different to look at a person versus a company, except companies make a lot more money and they have a lot more money. So hopefully it's positive here, and they'll get a nice, good, positive value. So let's take a look. This is me. I like to show who I am real quick before when I'm doing these types of videos where I'm not actually in front of the camera. I have a master's in IT with a focus of web design and database administration, and I only have 2 classes left of an MBA in finance, so I keep looking at different ways to value companies. Lyft, first one, $61. I don't look at the chart. I don't need to. This tells me how much the company is worth, and I'm going to assume that we all have, excuse me, $17 billion to buy this company from the CEO, take over as CEO, and make all of the company all money that they're making and have everything that they have so that we own the entire thing. If there was 1 billion shares available, then this would be $1.70 per share. And if this was $1.70 per share, people might think of it mentally differently than they do at $61 per share. So depending on how many shares there are, this amount is how much the entire company is worth. And then you break it down by share after that. So I made a different tab so I don't have to keep going back and forth. My internet's a little slow right now. But this is going to show the income statement, and you just click on financials and look at the income statement. Now this company is worth $17 billion, so if you actually had $17 billion in your pocket, you could use it, write a check to them, and start making negative $600 million, negative $680 million, and negative $900 million. So they're losing money per year because they're growing so fast. Now, I'm not going to be so simple as to say they're losing money and you should never buy a company that's losing money. But how much would you pay if someone told you that they make $50,000 a year, but they spend $75,000 per year? Oh, but I'm growing. I just got my master's degree. I'm going to get a great job. I'm going to be doing all kinds of things that other people can't do because I'm going to be making so much money. I have a great degree and a great job, but I'm still growing, so I'm still losing money. That's fine that a company is losing money as long as their top line revenue continues to go up, which it is. It's going up very fast, and they're probably hiring a bunch of people. So one of their biggest costs is right here, selling, general, and administrative, because they keep hiring new programmers and putting them to work, and they're spending that money before they see the result of what the programmers make. So they're losing money right now, and they might make money later. So, okay. But still, if you pay $1 for this company, you're going to lose 900 million next year trying to move forward with the company and getting new investments. So I just don't see that it's worth $17 billion based on losing a billion per year. And then on their balance sheet, this will tell you how much money they actually have today and if they have been. So when you're losing money per year, you're negatively affecting how much you have in your savings account. And this balance sheet for Lyft is basically their savings account. This is what I'm telling you. My computer's pretty slow right now. Negative 3 billion here. So they've been losing so much money every single year that they have negative 3 billion in retained earnings, and they end up with negative 3 billion on their balance sheet. So this is similar to a person that owns a house for $100,000 that they bought it for. That they bought the house for about $600,000 and it's only worth $300 right now. So if you sell it, you have to pay off your loan of $600 and you're going to end up minus. So they have a negative amount in their savings account and they have and they make a negative amount per year. So when you take a look at this assets minus liabilities, that right now is negative 3 billion. And then you would add 3 years of negative 1 billion, which is 3 times 3. So that's negative 3 plus negative 3 equals negative $9 billion. That's how much I would pay for this company. Negative $9 billion. So that's what happens when these companies start out like this. So that's how Facebook started out. So let's look at that now. Facebook started out similar to this, and then they ended up making a ton of money, and their stock price went up a lot. So this is the result of what someone like Lyft is hoping to do. You're buying this at a valuation of 17 billion and hoping that it will turn positive here and turn positive here, but right now it's not. So let's see what Facebook is doing. I already have them loaded up here, 192 per share. It would cost 500 billion to buy this company. So you need a lot more money to buy Facebook than Lyft. Lyft is only 17 billion to buy it. This is 500 billion dollars. Astronomical amount of money. And we're starting with the income statement again. Go straight down to the bottom to see how much money they're making. Oh, a lot. So their net income of 3.6 to 10 to 15 to 20. They're making $20 billion this year. So of course that's a lot of money. Now, Lyft was losing money, so this looks better immediately. But it costs 500 to buy this and only 17 to buy this. So at least you're making positive money, but if you're making 20 per year, it's going to take you 5 years to make 100, and it's going to take you 25 years to make 500 billion, which is what you bought the company for. So the earnings are 22 billion times 3, which is 66. So let's see how much they have now on their balance sheets. This is a very simple way to look at companies and to see what they're worth compared to the market value. If you actually had $500 billion that you wanted to put to work, would you buy Facebook? And you would end up with 64. So as they make income, they're putting it into this savings account, they're buying new assets, they're taking on new debt, and there's a lot of complications when you have billions of dollars, but their assets minus their liabilities equals 64 right now. So if Mark Zuckerberg sold the entire company, closed the doors, kicked all the employees out, he would sell everything off for 64 billion. And he probably started with very little. We've all seen the movie. However, if I bought the company today for $500 billion and closed the doors tomorrow, I would have bought it for 550 and only had 60, and I'm not going to collect the yearly earnings going forward. But they do have 60 right now, so 64 billion plus 22 plus 22 plus 22 is 66, so that's 130. 130 billion. I just had a B on the last one. So this one we figured out is worth -9 based on their financial statements, and Facebook is worth 130 based on their financial statements. But this one, it costs 550 to buy it. So you pay 550 and you get what we just added up for value of 130. So in my opinion, this is about 4 times overvalued. So if you divide their stock price by 4, you go from about 200 to about 50. And if the stock price went down to about $50, it would divide the market cap by 4 as well. So 55 divided by 4 is a little over 13, almost 14, and 140. I'm sorry. So if you were right around that area, you would be buying this company and you would have the 64, plus you'd be making this in 3 years. You'd make all your money back in 3 years. But if right here you're making your money back more in like 20 years at best. So let's take a look at Ford now. Ford is definitely not as glamorous as these new tech stocks that keep coming out that are getting high valuations because they're going to make money in the future. But do you want to pay tomorrow's price for today's value? And that's what you're doing Here, you're paying $17 billion for what you're getting today, which is minus 9. You're paying 550 today for Mark Zuckerberg's company, but he's only going to give you, if you buy it from him, 130 worth of stuff. You're going to have to wait for the rest of it at 22 billion per year in income to get to that 550 that you invested. Ford is $10 a share, a little bit cheaper, and it only costs 40 billion to buy them. So it's right in the middle. This was 17 for Lyft, and it was 550 for Facebook. It's 40 billion if you want to buy Ford. One of the nice things that I'll mention immediately about Ford is that they offer a very nice dividend, 5.7%. So if you put $10,000 into this company right here and bought as many shares as you could for $10,000, you would get $574 per year in the dividend that they hand out, which is very nice. Facebook and Lyft do not give a dividend. So if you hold their stock for 5 years and it goes up and down and it ends up right back where it started, then you get nothing for it, but you collect a 5.5% dividend the whole time that you own the stock. So even if it's at $10.34 in 5 years, you are still adding new shares to your stock because you are making 5.74% interest. So 41 to buy the company. Let's look at the financials. Financials, income statement. All right, they made 7,474. Average of about 5. Ford is making 5 billion times 3. That's 15. Now let's see how much it would cost. I'm sorry, how much they have on the balance sheet. So they do pretty good. They've been in business forever. Everybody knows Ford. They're probably not going out of business tomorrow. They make $5 to $7 billion per year net income. They give out a really nice dividend, so people are going to continue to hold their stock. Their assets minus their liabilities. Whoa, very nice. Oh, that's awesome. 36 billion. This is very good. So let's say you actually had $50 billion in your pocket. You got 5 times 3 is 15 plus 36 is 51. We're saying that there's a value of $51 billion here. So if Ford sold off everything that they have, all of their cars, they didn't make any new cars, they shut down all their facilities, they paid off all of their loans and all of their debt, they'd have 36. And so if you paid 36 today for Ford and you sold everything off tomorrow, you would get 36 back. So that's an even nice number. I believe that you should have to pay for some future earnings too, because the company is already established, it's already running, and they're collecting that money. They've collected it in the past, so odds are pretty good that they're going to go 3 more years. So you should pay a future value of an added $15 billion. So if you paid $51 billion for this company, you would start with 36 and make 15 in 3 years and get your money back. So I think that's a pretty fair price to offer Ford. And we just saw that it was $41 billion to buy the company right now. All you have to do is buy every single share at $10.34. Of course, you would push up the value by buying all of the shares, and you'd have to buy the first few shares at $10.34, and then $10.35, and then 11, and then $11.50. So you wouldn't be able to buy the entire company right here at this price, but you can probably approach the CEO and ask them for a price of 41. And we just found out that we think it's worth 51. So if we could actually buy the company for 41 today, we would get 36 right away, and we'd make 5 in the first year and be at 41. In year 1, you get all your money back. Think of this as like a lemonade stand that costs $36 to buy it, and you make $5 per year, so you get your $41 back right away. You pay $41 for the lemonade stand, and the lemonade stand is worth $36. You can sell it on eBay, and you're making $5 per year. You get your money back in 1 year, and then you're just gravy after that. These ones are glamorous because they're good, nice tech companies that are doing futuristic things, like Tesla and Google, and they're worth more money to the people right now, 4 times what it should. So if this was 4 times, we thought this company was worth 51. We thought thought this was worth 130, but it's actually 4 times that value. 4 times 51 is 200. So that would be 5 times this number, which is 5 times this. If Ford had the same valuation that Facebook has, their stock would be $50 right now per share, but it's only $10 per share. You also get a 5.5% dividend, and you get no dividend here. So you also get a 100-year-old company that has had multiple CEOs and gone through wars and depressions and recessions and tough things in the economy that have gone on, and different presidents, different elections, and I mean racism, tons and tons of stuff over the last 100 years, where Facebook hasn't gone through most of that stuff, and they're still worth an astronomical amount. So for your money, if you actually had $150 billion, okay, $550 billion, you'd only have to use a small portion of your money to buy all of Ford, and you would make more money immediately right away. If you bought Facebook for $550 billion, you wouldn't be buying, enough earnings to get you back right away. It would take you 20 years to make all of your money back, so it's probably not worth it. And this is just obviously not worth it at all, in my opinion. I just think that Lyft should be worth maybe $1 billion, so 1/17th of their current value, which puts them, way under 10, $5 a share for right now, until they actually start turning positive income. So if this turns into positive 1 billion and positive 3 billion, now you have 3 plus 3, and you get a 9 billion valuation, and they're still already at 17 billion. So they have to make 3 to get to 0, plus make 3 more to get to 3. Then they have to start earning here as well to get this valuation, and they're already at 17 billion. So this valuation is ridiculous. This one's a little bit more down to earth. It's getting better because their income keeps going up, but they're still a young company. They haven't gone through too much. Mark Zuckerberg is just starting to experience all of the regulational issues with the government that they have to continuously deal with, and it might seem annoying and petty, but Ford has been going through that for hundreds of years, and they have legal staff on in the company ready to deal with that stuff on a regular basis because they know it, they understand it, they've been through it, and they'll continue going through it. They make a lot of money. I think this is definitely the best value to buy this company right now. It's more secure. There's less risk. There's a higher risk here because you're paying 550 and only making this. So if this 22 goes down to 15 and then down to 10, this valuation is just going to drop like crazy from 550 down to 130 and maybe lower. So in my opinion, Ford is the best one, and collecting the dividends is pretty nice. So make your own opinion, and my suggestion is to just look at what you think the company is worth before just saying, oh, the stock has been going up, or Lyft is a little bit cheaper than the IPO price, and maybe I should buy it now, but they're losing so much money. I just don't think you should be buying this stock right now. At least Facebook is making money, but I still think the valuation is a little bit too high, 4 times too high from what they actually have, just because it's a little glamorous and a big tech company that they just do everything modern, and the millennials like them and everything. So this seems much more boring to buy Ford. It's just so boring. You don't think that they're going to 3x their stock price, but they really could, based on the valuations that people are giving some of these companies. If car companies come back into it, this could be a good valuation right here. I like Ford.